one that would be cool to share. So I thought, yeah, that'd be a great way of doing that, to do that, do some of the scenes in like 10-minute long little plays every once in a while. And then maybe people would be like, is there like a story to this? Because we've seen a couple times these particular characters in some of your plays. And like, yeah, there's actually a whole story to it. And then there would be a request. Excuse me. Then there would be an actual request for me to finish the book, which I might be able to at that point. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The whole reason why I even stopped, and I'm not sure if this is just an excuse or not, because do I need to actually write something? Do I know for a fact anyone's ever going to read it or even look at it? No. Well, then do I need to do it? No, because it's a waste of time otherwise, right? Right. So I stopped writing it. Well, the reason I stopped writing it, though, was because of Riot Games. Because of that one video game dream. The one that is on YouTube. I'm allowed to put that up on YouTube. I'm allowed to write that, but I can't write them together. And the characters, it's a dream. That whole League of Legends story is just a dream that I had. Sorry, scratch my hand. It's just a dream that I had, and it was just one of the many dreams that's part of this bigger story. But when I contacted Riot Games to ask them if, I could, write that story and, but it was part of a bigger story, they said that they would own all of it. And so, no, I'm not okay with that. I don't care. They can own the League of Legends part. I don't care. That's fine. But when it comes to the rights and owning the other story, that's mine. No, you can't have it. And because of that, I stopped. Because I got to the part of the story where that particular dream happens, and I couldn't write beyond it. Because I couldn't write it in. I tried. And you can tell. Because if you actually look at the last few pages or so of the story, you can see where I'm just kind of running around in circles. Like, I think something about building houses, but there's just all kinds of trust me, it's a lot of blah, 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 extra that doesn't need to be, extra scenes that aren't necessary. They're kind of like, what? That's not even how the original dream went. So I mean, I can't remember everything, so I've had to add little bits here and there for transitional purposes especially. But yeah, you can tell there's just extra stuff there because my brain couldn't, it wants to write it, but the fact is Riot said no. And since the next part of the story is the part that involves that dream, you can't write it. And because you don't, now I know this is going to sound stupid to some people, because it's going to be like, well, just skip it and go to the next part. Brain can't do that. It could, but because it's over functionalizing, it can't. It can't just skip it. The next step is the next step. You cannot skip that next step. Even though I normally would have been the type of person who could have skipped that next step and gone on to whatever. I could have written the end of the book before writing any of the rest of it. I would have been fine with that. Nope. It's not the way it works in the brain. Not when it's over functionalizing. So I pretty much just stopped writing. And the only way I think that would start back up again is if Riot contacted me and said, no, it's yours, you can keep it. I even tried. I tried to specify that these were actually two different things, but one kind of sat with the other kind of, Nope. I'm not sure if they understood me. I sent a couple emails about it, and every time I get back these emails talking about how we're so glad that people do fan fiction, and we're so happy to hear about it, and la 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 la. That's real pretty, but that don't answer my question. So, because for a fact I do not have a for a fact answer. The answer is no. If you don't know for sure, then you don't do anything. You've all had moments like that, right? Yeah, we've all had those moments where we didn't know what to do, and so we didn't do anything at all. Man, why? I can't be the only person out there in the world that knows this stuff. And boy, do I feel badly for anyone else out there who does, and they're in the same spot that I'm in. Sometimes I wish I was much more functional. For a while there, I thought I had a functionalist that was going to help me with my stuff. But unfortunately, life happens. Anyway. Oh, yeah. See how I went off on a whole tangent? It's 40 minutes after. Isn't this an exciting video? Gosh, don't you just love it? Watching me sit out in the Whole Foods parking lot. Anyway. What? Sorry. Car. Reminding me. Okay, yes, I pushed a button. I'm sorry. I pushed the seat button. It's telling me, no, I can't do anything for you. There's no electricity to the system. So the whole thing that I even started about this was, poor Robin. Sitting here listening to this for 40 minutes. Sorry. The whole reason I was even talking about this was because of this weekend, possibly, I have to talk to my buddy. She's already informed me that Friday I'm to be ready at 8 o'clock for my carriage to whisk me away somewhere. I don't for sure know what she has planned. I know that usually we do like the haunted house thing, but I never know for a fact. And then I mentioned to her the other day, I said there's too much to explain. The story I just explained to you about how in the school and everything, you know. But I told her, I said, I was kind of thinking my own thing this time. And she's like, well, what were you thinking? And I said, well, to sum it up, karaoke. And I say that because not too long ago, I tried to make the effort to contact some local studios because I had told a couple people on the website that I was going to sing. I was going to do it. And like a lullaby or something. And I want to be true to my word, you know. Not to mention it's time. It's time to get that little tiny thorn or whatever you want to call it to go away. And I think that might be one of the reasons why I'm having the issues with accepting any singing things is because of that happening, you know. Because I went for the audition and I failed. Which means if you did something again, it failed. 1 + 1 = 2. So, like I said, I tried to do the local studio thing. Contacted a few. But I could already feel my brain starting to overfocus on too many things that my normal me wouldn't care about. I wouldn't care about the ambiance or the people around me or all that other junk. I would have just been like, can I sing? Can I sit and sing? Can I stand and sing? Do I have to have music? Yeah, I mean, I've been like, okay, cool. Let's just set this up and do this. But that's the normal me, not the over-functionalizing me. So, I ended up not. But karaoke, which usually takes place in a bar, which usually involves alcohol. Alcohol always makes us a little easier about things, right? Not to mention, drunk people, they clap. They just do. Whether it be because you're good or just because you're not, but they're glad you're done, they're going to clap for you. So maybe it'll be a confidence booster to, get to the next step of actually going to a studio and recording those couple songs that I want to record. I gotta do it. Nervous. I don't have any kind of amazing voice or anything. But it's decent enough, I think. I don't know. This is how I'll know. You know how you say, well, I'll never know. Well, I need to know, though. Before, maybe it would have been no big deal to say it's not a problem to never know. But when the brain becomes imbalanced like this, the more things that didn't make sense before, the more they kind of pile up against you. And so then it's almost like the brain has to make sense of things that it normally wouldn't have had to worry about. I normally probably wouldn't have had to worry about this. If life had been different and, made sense in other ways, then it wouldn't need to. But when something like life not making sense happens in a big way over and over, then sometimes the only way to fix that is to make sense of even the silly little things. That's how it goes. Think of it almost like your brain being wounded. And sometimes even just the smallest little jab is just too much. So you have to kind of, lady, you're going to hit a car. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Yes, the other woman was looking at her too. Sorry. I'm not the greatest driver. People used to call me Crash. I've gotten better. I've gotten better with my driving. Oh my goodness. That just reminds me. My appointment this morning. Did I really expect it to go any different? I hoped it would. But you really can't expect it to go any different because there is what do you call it? The filter. The doctor-patient thing. And she kept looking at me like, well, trying to, align that with my stuff. And it's like, no, you understand. It's not I use my stuff because it creates examples. But I don't want you to use my stuff in the sense that you're focusing in on that. I want you to focus in on the broader picture here. And that is when I say the reason I can't do things because of the depression, because of the anxiety, the same process is happening in everybody's brains. Different reasonings. We all have different reasonings. Like for mine was just, one of the things is the singing. And the everybody's got different reasonings, but essentially it's the same very process happening in the brains. Isn't that amazing? We can all have all these different reasons, but it's one. It's the same one. It's just frustrating because on one hand it's like, okay, what's the big deal? So they don't find this stuff out till after I'm dead and gone. Okay, fine. And on the other hand, it's like, no, you don't understand. I see it. I see it all the time. Especially with the younger generations. Now, some of it is just normal, life changes, from generation to generation. No, we're not like our grandparents. That's okay. And some of that's quite normal because they're not like their grandparents. But some of it's not good. And I don't think people realize that. I think they see it in the sense that they see something's happening, but they don't know what it is. I do. It's like being a profiler, but not just of people, but of the actual brain. It's weird to explain. I watch those crime shows because, yes, I too am searching. And they want to know why this kid committed these crimes. Nobody knows. We'll probably never know. I just want to scream at the TV when they say that. I could tell you why they did that. It's very aggravating. I keep turning to them, but it's very aggravating at the same time to watch those crime shows and to listen to them talk about these people who've gone out and committed these crimes. And they don't have answers as to why. What caused that? They were such a good person. They had such a good life. Or oh, what was it the other day I was thinking of? The anxiety thing. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because, it wasn't a crime show I was watching. It was Monk. I was watching Monk. And I was thinking about, the different people out there. Because, again, I was thinking of some examples that I could use from the show that again, I would really, really like to be able to do that. To be able to share the examples from Monk and Bones and whatever else. To be able to say, okay, in that episode, when that person did such and such, this is what was going on. But then, of course, the response from people would be like, well, that is a television show. Sounds like you're kind of living in a fantasy world. Yes, it may be a television show, but guess what? It is made by human beings based on real human beings that those human beings know, dealing with real life situations that, okay, so Hollywood has dramatized things. I get that, blah, blah, blah. And I say Hollywood as in the sense of just, you can't always take the original story and just perform that. Sometimes you have to add that extra la 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 to it. And that's what I call Hollywood, the extra la la la. But they're real life situations oftentimes that maybe it was the person's neighbor that went through it. Who knows? Whatever. But the idea is that it is a real life situation, and how they've reacted might be how they're portraying it in the show. So they're not exactly the worst things to use as examples. And since I'm not a doctor and I don't have any, what do you call that? Well, even if as a doctor, I wouldn't be able to use people unless I was a research. What is that called? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What do you call it? Anyway, they would just be really good examples to be able to use. It sounded like somebody was scraping something across the ground. The anxiety thing. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't believe how many people out there are... What was it I was thinking? Now my brain's thrown off. Some of the people that act like that, okay, something happened to cause that. But some of the people, that's actually normal. That's actually, there's a reason for that. What was I thinking of? All for the love of cheese. Now I can't remember. It was something he did in the episode, and it's like the reason why is because they need to know what to expect. In his particular case, it's a little bit stronger for the simple fact that, what happened with his wife and all. Before that, though, if you listen to how people describe him from before that, he was one of those people who still did some odd things, as they put it. Very picky and very, about certain things, but, he could let go of things a little bit more. And then after that happened with his wife, he got, really functionalized. So, I can't remember what it was I was thinking of, or what was, I think I actually put it in my phone, which I'm on right now, so I can't look it up. I had so many memos in my phone of this stuff. Episodes of this, episodes of that. I put a memo in that, you know how people chew, like when they grind their teeth at night when they're sleeping? I'm wondering if part of the reason why that happens sometimes is simply because, so if you put food in your mouth, can you sit there without it bugging you that you haven't chewed it? Well, if while you're sleeping you have extra mucus or whatever, because at around, I think it's 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning or so, there's a histamine dump. What is that called? Well, anyway, it's just where the histamine, the mucus, whatever, there's just extra blah blah blah. Anyway, I am wondering though if the pressure from the mucus in the mouth, as it happens, causes, against the tongue, against the teeth, whatever, just like food, causes the chewing. Anyway, I explained that all wrong. I think I'm just, what was I thinking of? Oh, anyway, it's driving me crazy. I can't remember what, because I remember sitting there thinking, oh, that's a really good example. I should write that down. I didn't write it all down, though, because I got frustrated with the fact that, again, it's a TV show. People are going to be like, well, that's a TV show. That's not real life. Not a bad reflection sometimes. Anyway, I better get going. I can't believe I did this with a cold sore. Actually, it's not that bad now. I'm not a cold... that always messed with me. I would see someone and they would get the, what I called the little cute pink bump. And I would get like this all over the face, like all up around just the whole thing. From the time I was a little kid, I do not have any pictures that I know of where I do not have cold sores. All my life, and I never understood why. It was funny. Went on vacation some years back, and due to alcohol and not a whole lot of sleep and some other stuff, whatever, the last day of our vacation, we were getting ready to drive home, and I had this really bad cold sore. Oh, sunburn too. Oh, that's always a good one for that. And I get home, and my aunt, she was with us on vacation, but they drove separate. And she gets home and she sends me a picture of her little cute pink bump. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. It's not cute, but that's just, I always call it. And she says, this cold sore, it's driving me crazy. And I was like, oh, okay. So I took a picture of mine, which was like, Which it hasn't been bad like that for some years now. It only gets really bad when I get sick or something. But I sent her a picture of mine. Next thing I know, she sends a message saying front porch. So I go downstairs. And on the front porch is this great big plastic container, and it's got shampoo and conditioner and a coffee cup and a bag of chocolates and just like a little I'm so sorry care package type thing. It was so funny. Because she's like, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to complain compared to yours. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? And I've dealt with this my whole life. Awful things. Awful, awful. And it was just never fair, because it was like, why is it some people get the cute little pink bump, and I get this great big rash looking thing? It wasn't fair. And it's always when I was going to go do something or something special, right? No. Awful thing. Well, the answer actually came to me in a dream. In fact, I actually had dreams about how it was actually having a cold sore. And it actually turned out to be a good thing. So when I was a little girl, now some of this is true and some of this is add in. When I was a little girl, I was 3 or 5, something, and I was sitting in my high chair eating spaghetti, I think, and I had convulsions. Went into convulsions. So my parents called the paramedics. And they don't remember specifically what happened. Like, if I went to the hospital, I don't know if I went to the hospital or if they gave me medication or anything. In the dream, I did get medication. They injected me with something. That something is not something they use now. This is the made up part. It's not something that they use now. It's actually what do you call that? Out of commission, because they found it to actually not be a good thing for a lot of people. But here's the weird thing. So the way that the cold sore virus works, a lot of people have it and they don't even know it. Like 80 or 90% of the world has it and they just don't even know it, because for the most part it never shows up. It lays dormant in the system, and if it comes out, a lot of people maybe get it once or twice in their whole lifetime when they get a really super bad flu or something like that. And then it's just like this little cute pink bump, right? Or some people get the little cute pink bump, and it's no big deal, whatever. But some people, like me, get a whole lot more. It's I'm sorry. Anyway, so in the dream, or not in the dream, but when the virus first comes, a lot of times it's during our childhood, and a lot of times when we get the virus, we get a little sick or something around the same time. And that, now if I'm understanding this correctly, don't quote me. I don't mind being corrected. Did I say don't quote me? I don't mind being corrected. Yeah. So when that virus first comes into the body then creates antibodies that it will continuously recreate all throughout your life to fight that off. Well, so in the dream, now back to the dream, my body did that. But because of that medicine that was injected at the same time, it also recreates that medicine over and over again along with it. And that's in the dream. Now, in real life, hold on, back to real life. So sorry, I know it's confusing that. So in real life, I think the reason why mine turns out the way it does, and then for anybody else who's ever wondered this, and boy, I should probably make a new video of this because this is like over an hour long and my stomach's rumbling. And I probably don't want to hear all this just to get to this part. So, what do you call it? The cold sore At the time that my body came in contact with the virus, originally, when I was a child, at the same time, something else, was working on me. So my immune system was already working on something else. So then, okay, this is going to sound silly when I say this. So instead of all the soldiers being able to work on the antibody, or the thing that my body was going to recreate over and over again, only some of them could. So then it was weaker, because the other ones were fighting off the other thing. And I say that because a day or two after the convulsions, I think they said I had roseola or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, I think that might be what happens when we get the virus. If we're already sick from something, maybe no big deal. Maybe even just a cold or something. I don't know. But if the body is not, up to full status, full whatever strength, then whatever it's doing is going to be a little bit weaker. So the antibody that is created is weaker. So where everybody else gets the cute pink bump because their antibody is stronger, we get the rash because our antibody is weaker, because we were maybe sick when our bodies created the antibody. That's just a thought. Just a whatever. A way of making sense of why I get this super duper blah, 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 and other people get the cute pink bump. Anyway. Sorry. I apologize. I am gonna go now because I think I need food. And I gotta do my Amazon returns. If they'll even let me. I don't even know if they're gonna let me. We'll find out. So, till next time. Yes. Bye-bye.